Okay. I wanted to make this video because God answered a 3 year long prayer for friends. 3 years ago, I decided to take a hard look at myself, and I was a casual Christian. I would only pray when I needed something from God or when it was convenient for me. And I decided to fully commit myself to God. I was like, I want to find my purpose in life, and I want to actually serve you the way you deserve to be served. And as I was getting, to know God and getting to know myself as well, I started to realize that the friends that I had around just weren't making me happy. And not that they were bad people, but they weren't friendships that I felt like are going to or were going to serve me in the long run. And, you know, I had known these people for so many years, throughout school. And it was hard to come to the realization that I just didn't want to be around them as often. And, you know, I'm in my 20s, so I just thought, maybe it's something I can fix. But as I got to know God more, I started to realize that I need to have friends that, are going to serve me and that have the same values as I do. So I found myself feeling a little embarrassed, but I decided to pray for friends. And I just asked God, I want people with, these certain qualities, and I want forever friends, people to worship with, pray with, go on vacation. Um, but I, at the same time, didn't just want to cut off the friends that I'd known for so long. So as I was getting closer to God, I didn't listen to him in the beginning, and I realize now that that's why it took so long for him to put my current friends in my life. I didn't listen in the sense of he was telling me to cut off the friends that I had at the time, and I needed to take some time to myself and to spend time with him. And instead of listening, I was like, well, when you bring my new friends, then I'll cut these people off. But, you know, I don't see why I should let them go right now. And honestly, I wish that I would have just listened to him in the beginning, because right now I was just thinking back and I'm like, I really stopped myself from meeting my friends earlier. Like, it took 3 years, y'all. So I finally decided, it was taking a long time, and I was like, you know what? I'll just, I'll cut them off. And there's no drama, no beef. I, you know, left things in a good way. I didn't just like ghost anyone. So, um, I spent a long time, by myself and God, and, you know, just personal growth. And then last year, in October, November, I met Sydney and Jasmine, and I obviously prayed for confirmation that these were the friends that he sent. I met them at work, and I was just so excited because I was like, finally, I mean, this took 3 years. Like, and it was so funny because as we were getting to know each other, we were talking about like where we lived and, yada yada. Y'all, they lived 5 minutes from my house. I was like, when God hides people, it is so serious. Like, we live in a small town, so especially around my neighborhood, I mean, they were 5 minutes away. There was no reason I shouldn't have ever seen them. Like, they were around like the Target and Starbucks I was always at, like the mall. It was just so funny. I'm like, there's no, like, I've never seen them before. Like, and they were 5 minutes down the road from me. I was like, what? You guys. But I think that's when I also realized that a lot of it was my holdup and not wanting to listen to God's instructions, And because in my head, I was like, who wants to be in their 20s and not have any friends or, like just be by themselves? Like, I definitely like having people around and, not having people to go to the movies with or like go to dinner. That's not, I just didn't like the thought of being lonely. And, you know, I did have to learn the hard way that the way I feel like things should go is not, you know, the best. Like, God's plan is always best. And, like, I know it's corny, but I feel like that was, like, the biggest thing that happened that I was like, okay, moving forward from here on, like, God says jump, I'm jumping. Like, there's no like hesitation, because it was just crazy how it just held me up for so long. And now I am moving in with or have moved in with Sydney and Jasmine, and we got matching tattoos, and I'm just really happy. And it's so crazy because I was so specific in what I wanted in friends, and like I think it always just shocks me how God really takes everything we ask him for and gives it to us, but like 100 times better than we imagined. Like, I am so happy with my friendships right now, and literally the perfect people for me. I was like, wow, like I wouldn't have found them on my own. And it's so crazy now being in a position where my best friends are like a godly friendship, which is so crazy because I'd only ever heard of God bringing your spouse. Like, friends, I am so happy. But I did make a lot of mistakes, but if any of you are kind of going through the same thing where like, you're praying for friends and not really happy with the friends you have right now, or even just on a journey with God, changing your relationship and getting to know him. I hope this video helps and gives you some clarity. But yeah, and it's also not to say that if, you do listen to God and don't make the same mistake that I did, it's not that it's going to move things quicker sometimes, but it is just going to benefit your growth, and that definitely stopped me a little bit. So yeah, I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.